British statesman who was a renowned and distinguished leader, born at Blenheim Palace in Woodstock, Oxfordshire, died in London. At the beginning of World War II, at 66 years old, he already had a long career behind him as a war correspondent, having been elected 9 times as Home Secretary, First Lord of the Admiralty, Minister of War, and Chancellor of the Exchequer. In the 1930s, he had warned Europe about the expansion of communism, and then against the rise of Nazism. Vehemently opposed to the Munich Agreement and pacifism, he had also preached for rearmament without being heard. Appointed First Lord of the Admiralty in September 1939, he was designated as Prime Minister in place of Chamberlain. From then on, his determination in the fight, despite the early setbacks in Norway and the collapse of France, never wavered. As soon as Germany entered the war against the USSR in June 1941, and with the threat of invasion of England averted, he worked towards a rapprochement with the United States on one side, and with Stalin on the other, to open a front in the east. Alongside the Americans, at the end of 1942, he landed his troops in North Africa, and the offensive against the Axis powers then gained full momentum. Present at all the major international conferences, such as Casablanca, Tehran, Quebec, Yalta, and Potsdam, he tried to counter Stalin's imperialist ambitions, but he couldn't carry out his plan to attack the soft underbelly of Europe, the Balkans, which would have benefited the Western Allies, especially when you consider the disastrous consequences of the Red Army's advance to Berlin. And it has been said since that while the war was won, we lost the peace instead. At the end of hostilities, he continued his anti-communist policy and his dream of maintaining the British Empire, particularly by opposing the abandonment of India. Overthrown by the Labour Party, he resigned in July. Resigned the ministry. His prestige alone kept him there until, at which point he withdrew completely from public life. He wrote memoirs about World War II in 12 volumes and a history of English-speaking peoples in 4 volumes.